This tumor that develops in here is trying to protect you from death, because the body uses the tumor to stop the toxins from being released into the bloodstream to kill you.
So what is cancer?
Cancer is uncontrollable cell growth in tissues. So wherever it's situated, they name it after it. So if it's in the prostate, it becomes prostate cancer. The human cells are supposed to grow, some are supposed to die, and then the body purges off. But some are growing uncontrollably, and then it is ongoing uncontrollably in whatever tissues is growing in. If it's in the blood, it becomes blood cancer or lymphoma. If it's in the breast, it becomes breast cancer. Cancer dates back to the first early history of written document on cancer was in the Egyptian papyrus. About 3,500 years ago, it was discovered in the tomb, and then by two doctors. Those are the ones who documented it. That it described it as a growth in the breast, or a tumor in the breast that cannot be cured. That was a basic first description of cancer or breast cancer. So from there, Hippocrates also found and spoke about it, and then it was through him that the name cancer even came true, where it was named cancer, because the name is something similar to cancer in the Greek language or whatever they were speaking then. And then it started becoming more prevalent as time went on. So from the 17th, 18th century to the 19th century, the only way people were dealing with it was mutilation, cutting it off.
Why is cancer so common these days?
Because we've divorced from nature.
Okay.
The allopathic description of cancer is uncontrollable cells in the tissues. And then our ancestors' way of describing cancer was divorced from nature. When humans strayed too far away from nature, the further we stray away, the more cancerous we become, because we are not eating the right food that we should be eating as humans. Everything is processed. We are not in tune with our spirits. You know, our ancestors' way of dealing with sickness was not isolating it and then treating it as an enemy. It was literally dealing with comprehensive, holistic way, like mind, body, and spirit. You can never treat a sickness like they do now in isolation, like they are going to bomb it with radiation or burn it with radiation or cut it out or poison it, the tumor outside of it. This tumor that develops in here is trying to protect you from death, because the body uses the tumor to stop the toxins from being released into the bloodstream to kill you. When they saw cancer as something, an enemy that has to be destroyed, it made it very deadly. So the treatment model that they developed was very toxic and poisonous. When you know who your enemy is, we've gone to war to fight our enemies. So as soon as you label it as your enemy, something that you have to eradicate no matter what, then you have to use every weapon you have, no matter what, even if it's toxic, to eradicate it. They were using mastectomy or lumpectomy, that was cutting away of the breast, and then all the tissues around it. That was, I'm talking about specifically about breast cancer. They were cutting it off, and then when they cut it off, it decreases the quality of life of the patients. They were in perpetual pain, and then also spread to other organs as well, and tissues as well. So it wasn't a solution. And then they later discovered early 1900s radiation therapy. So that one was also burning. So they were burning all the tissues. And then chemotherapy was introduced after Second World War. When they found out they can use mustard gas to kill and other things, they decided to poison the whole human body, hoping it can destroy the cancer cells as well.
If you are not seeing it as the enemy, what should we see it as? As a friend?
Well, can be a friend if you decide to heal yourself holistically, because that friend is coming to help you align yourself to your spirit, your mind, and your body, and overall align with your purpose in life. That is working with it. If you don't see it as an enemy or a death sentence, because there are natural ways of dealing with it that also saves lives and then doesn't deteriorate your life further. If you have it, it's already there. It's there now. So how do you react to it mentally? If you see it as an enemy that has to be cut off, then it will be cut off and you decrease your quality of life. But when it's a friend, because automatically you are coming to live with it, literally it's like a death sentence to a lot of people. That's how they make it seem, that you're coming to live with it for the rest of your life. So whatever chronic sickness that you have, you are coming to live with it for the rest of your life. So becoming at peace with it mentally and seen as a friend. So this friend is going to be in my body for the rest of my life. Maybe. How do I live with it so it doesn't deteriorate my quality of life as well? But it's going to be there. So once you become aware that it's going to be there, you don't have to be afraid of it, and they were not born with it, so you can also reverse it naturally.
So what are some of those things that can help reverse it?
Right. Once you know the root, then you have about 80% of the solution. The root cause of these modern day cancers that's prevalent in so many young women, because when we started treating cancer 11 years ago, a lot of people that were coming to us with cancer were like literally dead, sentenced to death, because they've done the chemotherapy, the radiation, and the surgery, and it was still there. So I decided to bring together wonderful healers who I knew were good at treating stuff like these tumors and other things in the human body. And then we formed an organization. It had doctors, nurses, advanced native doctors, so many from different aspects of life. And then we started looking at cancer differently, because all the Western system or the legal solutions that were there wasn't healing people, but it was rather deteriorating, because chemotherapy is poisoning the body. And the first rule of healing anyone is first do no harm. So if it's first do no harm, why are we introducing poisons into already compromised immune systems? Why are we burning already compromised immune systems? And why are we cutting out different parts of the human body? So let's find an alternative way of looking at it. All the information I'm giving you right now, a lot of people have been killed for bringing it out. And then it became so because the world started seeing it as a business. When sickness is seen as a business, then you're not looking for the solution. You're looking for a way to make more money. That's why most of the time they preach about breast cancer awareness, but not the awareness to what causes it generally. They did a recent 1990s. They found out BRCA1, BRCA2 gene that when you have it in you, you are 80% to have cancer or breast cancer. So they relating it a bit to genes as well. But I see genes as just a loaded gun. You have to pull a trigger to fire it. Loaded gun doesn't pull off by itself. So even if your genes are predisposed to it, it's your lifestyle that triggers.
So here in Africa, are we more prone to getting it?
I'm happy you asked me these questions. Africa didn't have a lot of cancer like we're having them now. So we asked ourselves, what changed? Our lifestyle, our spirituality, our mind, how we dealt with emotional damage and traumas. All of this is what a healer does to reverse any condition. So looking at our lifestyle, why are so many young women having cancers now? Especially breast cancer and ovarian cancers and all these other hormonal cancers. What were we using or what were we eating? Before these times, we were eating organic. The whole Africa was eating organic. There were no pesticides and other things. Our whole food was pure. There were no GMOs. We were not eating all these processed foods with added preservatives. Everything we were eating was fresh from the soil. So anytime someone comes with every cancer, we ask them to go back to nature. They start recovering. That was how I was able to conclude that most cancers or all cancers are divorced from nature. We lose ourselves so much to the point we use chemical substitutes, eating foods that are not real foods, food-like substances, processed foods, and then African women stopped using natural soaps. They started using chemical soaps, and our skin being the largest organ, whatever you put on goes directly into the bloodstream. They stopped using natural creams and salves. We were using shea butter, coconut oil, palm kernel oil, cocoa butter, and all these things we were using to cook. So whatever we didn't eat, we did not put on our skin. We knew our skin was the largest organ. We stopped using lime and then started using antiperspirant deodorants. We were not wearing brass. Now we were introduced braziers that had metal wires underneath. It blocks and restricts blood flow. And we started putting on a lot of toxins like chemical sprays that are hormonal interfering substances, destroying our tissues and causing abnormal cancer growth in the body.
So what are the first symptoms of cancer, breast cancer?
Abnormal discharge is usually starts with malign tumors in the breast, and then it becomes cancerous, and then sometimes sores around the nipples, and then sometimes pain in the breast as well. And then I'm not done. African women were not using hair relaxers, lipsticks. You know, the reason I'm worried about women that much is women consume the most toxins. Average black woman consumes about 5 pounds of toxins every year. With the soaps, the makeups, the creams, the hair relaxers, even the clothes that we wear, the synthetic materials. When it comes to the food, the plastics that we put food in, the microwaves, the vegetable oils, the artificial flavors, the baggy cubes, the canned foods, and the sugar foods, animal products, the processed milk and cheese, and the breasts, the yeast in the breast, and all the margarines, and all these toxins. We are literally consuming toxins. We are eating about 90% toxins these days, from our head to our foot, our skin, our inside, everything. Everything we are eating is killing us. Our raw food that we should be putting in our body to heal us is killing us.
What's the way? How do we make breast cancer our friend?
You can make breast cancer your friend by starting to know yourself and accepting that you need to address it holistically. If you can trust a human to cut your hair, your part of your body off, let you sleep so you don't feel pain, numb you. You are not sure if you're going to wake back again. You are putting your health in the life of another human being to cut you or poison you or burn you. Why don't you put your life in your own hands this time and say, I'm coming to go back to nature and heal myself? Because once you know the cause, as soon as you eradicate yourself from the main cause, automatically the cancer spread is going to stop. But then slowly break it down and work with it, and then dissolve everything and then be free. Even if it is a sore, it can be closed again with nature. Because this time you are not compromising your immune system by putting more toxins inside you. Since cancer was discovered, they've never devised a new way that is non-invasive to heal you holistically. No research, all the research that's been pumped into it, none of it has been able to do that. Only nature, natural ways of treatment has worked by first acknowledging and educating yourself to know all the things that you've been doing up to the time that you were diagnosed with cancer. Number one, how do you live? When you wake up in the morning, what do you do? What job do you do? Have you gone through some trauma that you've not healed from? How is your spirituality? Are you connected to your roots, your ancestors? How is your mind? Are you stressed? And how about your body? Is it full of toxins? Are you eating nutritional foods since you were born? And since you were diagnosed, you go into inner self-assessment because you are the only person who can heal yourself. And first kill your fear of death, because everyone's going to die. None of us get out of here alive. So don't be scared into going to do any treatment that you know can harm you, or the side effects is going to depreciate your peace of mind, your health, and your happiness. I've seen people who have gone through chemo, radiation, and surgery. A lot of them have emotional damage. Some of them are just existing. They are not alive and thriving. They are just existing. So all the options they have out there, I don't see it helping a lot of people. Because chemotherapy survival rate is about 3% for up to 5 years.
Are certain plants like mushrooms a key player in healing breast cancer?
There are so many different kinds of mushrooms. So what kind of mushrooms are you talking about?
Like the lion maize mushroom.
Yeah, it's good. Reishi mushroom is good. Before I come to the treatments, when you know the causes, as we've said, all the things that pass up to this, now you have to find herbs to detox your body. We have African divination man or healer who do divination to check. Sometimes we're even eating foods that we are not supposed to be eating, even if it is healthy. It's like mapping your genes to tell you this is not good for you. You can't digest beans, you can't digest palm oil, you can't digest potato, you can't digest corn, you can't digest a lot of other things. That is the scientific way that they do now. But ancestors had an advanced scientific way that Ifa, the Yoruba, it started from the Yoruba divination system. When it comes down here, we call it Afa. Healers were using that as diagnostic. And it's advanced, it works. So you want to find a good diviner or a good healer who knows how to use it. It was one of their diagnostic means of doing it, and helps map out all the things that you should be eating and not eating, the things that you are doing. Sometimes you're not even wearing your callus that you should be wearing. All these things have a dent on your spirit, because if your spirit is not disturbed, your body won't be overtaken with sickness. It's impossible. It's all together. So the holistically, we do serious detox. Colon cleanse, mucous cleanse, parasite cleanse, everything from your system. From your system. We purge you. Treating cancer alternatively is expensive. So we are preaching preventative lifestyle more. Because it's not everyone who gets it who can survive. Treating breast cancer is one of the most difficult cancers that we treat here. Other forms of cancers are very easy to treat. But when it comes to breast cancer, because you have to introduce the medications to go inside the breast tissues, the tumors. And when you eat it, just 20% is digestible or absorbed by the body. And sometimes before they come to us, because of the process they've gone through, their body immune system is destroyed. So it can't process the natural medicines. You have to heal the gut a lot before you start healing. And the pain and other things they go through. If you've not seen someone with the pain of cancer before, I always say to people, don't wish cancer on anything, your worst enemy. It's a devastating low vibrational sickness that no one deserves to have it in this lifetime.
So what are some things, like you gave us tea, for example. What is that tea, and is it something that helps cleanse the immune system?
Yes, that was our lifestyle. Wherever you went in the olden days, you were given a tea, or every house had a special tea everyone drinks, natural, not the imported ones that grows around you. The scent leaves, the basils, the Eubodia leaves, they were all going around us. So many natural teas. We knew the herbs around us and how to use it to prevent sicknesses. That is how ancestors. So anytime you drink them so it's nature. As I said, divorcing from nature. We started to stop using those natural things that nature provided for us for free, and to buy things that have been processed. So the more you divorce from nature, the further you drift away from nature, the sicker we became. So our ancestors were using these teas that will ground you. It has a lot of antioxidants in there, purge your system, get more oxygen inside you, kill all anti-cancer cells. Because everyone in this world, every day your body kills cancer cells. Every day your body is eradicating them. So it reaches a point when it can't eradicate them, then become cancerous. and then it will arise the whole body and kills you in the end. So how do you prevent them? Going back to nature, taking natural teas, eating food that is close to nature, not much more processed, using natural things, organic solutions to everyday problems. The more you use chemical solutions, the more sicker you become.
When you talk about the IFA system, right, there's something they do now, they call it gene methylation test. Is it similar to that?
Ours was even much more advanced than the IFA system was even much more advanced than gene methylation test. They all learned that thing from us. They came to study our system and they decided to have something to test it and see. We had it years. The IFA system is the most ancient form of divination that is so accurate that it shocked them. When a child was born, it was done for them to know the gene, whatever they've discovered now. This food is not good for them. These days they don't do this. All these things, even how to guide your life to be successful till you die. The IFA system can even calculate the day that you die and the time that you die, what will kill you. And that's what they have discovered now, scientifically, in the West. They were touting. But we had it long. Cancer is a wake-up call. For the last 200 years, we've seen the Western way of healing, treating cancer with the chemo, radiation, and surgery. This generation should also focus on something different that doesn't cause further harm to themselves and going back to nature. So it's a wake-up call to connect your mind, body, and spirit to align with your purpose in this system. Now, because you are born to come and do something for humanity. Everyone has a gift they came to this world. And as you are growing and you are not aligning to those gifts, it brings sicknesses to you. It brings pain. So once you start getting these pains and sicknesses, it's a wake-up call. That's why when you go to a diviner or a healer, traditional sense, they do divination to see what is causing it spiritually. So if there is incantation and prayers and sacrifices has to be done, it is done, and then you are put on the right track. And they heal the body with the herbs, and then the herbal saunas and all the other herbs that helps you to bring down the pain. Because as much as you are trying to align with your purpose, then the pain decreases, the cancer decreases, whatever you are suffering from starts to come down. And that's when true healing begins. Because there can never be true healing when you not heal the body, mind, and spirit. Ancestral. That is the first sign, because your first responsibility is your ancestors and your family. You are from a generation of family. Different families coming together to give birth to you. So you are the only evidence that there's an ancestor who came before you, because you are the evidence of them right here. So as Africans, our first thing was to our family and our ancestry and our roots. To know the kind, if you cut off a branch of this tree, and then it rots, you won't know the kind of tree it is. But the roots will regenerate new ones to come and replace it. So right now we've been cut off. As a healer, I'm now coming to take you back as a branch to connect to the main root. That's what your healer does for you, to help you. So in your journey of healing, you are going inwards to find out who you truly are. And you are always guided by advanced healers and diviners to help you. So the first step of getting to know your true purpose is decolonize your mind. And knowing the way of your ancestors is not evil, but it's advanced science which is now being unraveled. And going back to it, I've seen so many people connect to their higher self and their purpose and heal themselves from so many sicknesses that they said they were going to die from. The only thing they did was free their mind, and they decided to go back to the roots and use the way of the ancestors, backed by scientific evidence and advancement, that whatever ancestors were practicing then, especially with respect to healing, was holistic. And now there are holistic hospitals all over the West, where people go to connect to the root, they ask them to ground. And we were working barefoot already, connected to the grounds already. We were asking them to eat now organic foods and more fruits and vegetables, which our ancestors were consuming more of fruits and vegetables. So most of the things that are being rediscovered now are things we were doing already. And when we strayed away from it, that was when sicknesses started affecting us. That's when all the other chronic conditions and the cancers started affecting us. So we are going back to the common sense approach to health again, going back to nature, the roots. And in the roots is when we discover ourselves and all the other things that came with our presence here on this earth in this particular life. Our beautiful black women in this world, across Africa and the rest of the world, there is a war going on. This war is killing you more than any other people. The cancers in women is more than it is in men. Why? Because women, especially black women, are using so many environmental toxins. And they've strayed away from a way of life, and they think what they want is an easy way of life. Every environmental thing that you are using now, the skin products, everything, stop buying them. Go back to nature. The more we stray away from nature, the more sicker we become. When we are younger, you will not think you will be able to get it. But now women are having it so early. We are treating hundreds of women with different kinds of cancers, but the breast cancer is the most prevalent one. And it hurts. Most men leave their wives when they have breast cancer. So if you are putting all these makeups for the man, he's going to leave you when you are sick. Love yourself. When black women start to love themselves, a lot of these sicknesses will disappear. Accepting their natural self, accepting their natural way of life, not straying too far from their roots, and not looking at the ancestors as evil. When we are able to balance our mind, body, and spirit, and love ourselves more, starting from what we eat, what we put on ourselves, what we think. And if you are in a trauma, have a way of dealing with trauma. Go to elderly people and other things, because you can also heal from any chronic sickness by not dealing with your true traumas in life. Let's stop living in toxic environment. Let's stop being in toxic relationships. That is killing us literally. Let's stop loving men who don't eat well and think well, who don't know about themselves. When black women learn about themselves, they can impact the next generation, because it takes a generation to change. And women are gods. Once they are empowered and know themselves and love themselves, every generation that comes from them or give birth to are going to change, and Africa will be cancer free. I want an Africa that is free of cancer in the next 50 years. And we can do it if we educate ourselves and work together.